So we're looking at solving one-step equations. And so to start, we're going to look at how to solve an equation that has addition. To solve a one-step equation, we do the inverse operation. So the opposite of addition is subtraction. So we see a plus 7. Opposite of plus 7 is to subtract 7 from both sides. So we subtract 7 from both sides. And then we're left with x because this adds to 0 equals 12 minus 7, which is 5. So our solution is x equals 5. We can plug it back in to check our work. Next one we're going to look at is subtraction. So the inverse of subtraction is addition. So we see a minus 4. The inverse operation is going to be plus 4, and we need to add to both sides of our equal sign. So on both sides of our equal sign. And we're left with negative 4 plus 4 is 0, so this side's just x equals 10 plus 4 is 14. So our answer is x equals 14. Next is multiplication. The inverse for multiplication is division. And so we have 3 times x. When the number is directly in front of the variable, that means multiplication. And the inverse of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3, and we're going to divide both sides by 3. So both sides of our equal sign are going to be divided by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm left with 1x, or simply x, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So our answer is x equals 4. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. And right now, we currently have x divided by 4, and the opposite of divide by 4 is to multiply by 4. So I like to write it like this up in the problem, because then I can say 4 over 4 reduces to 1, which leaves me with x equals 10 times 4 is 40. So we did it to both sides of our equal sign. And our answer is x equals 40. Now those are all examples with positive numbers. We come down here, the inverse of operation. In this situation, I want to point out that the variable the number that's by itself is 8. Okay, and so the reason that we're going to be subtracting is because this is really a positive 8. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract 8 from both sides, and we are left with 8 minus 8 is 0, leaving me with x equals 14 minus 8, which is 6. On this problem, our negative 3 is what we're trying to remove. The opposite of minus 3 or subtracting 3 is to add 3. So we're going to add 3 to both sides. I guess I need to get a number here. So on both sides of this equation, we're going to be adding 3. And negative 3 plus 3 is 0, leaving me with x equals 10 plus 3, which is 13. On this one, we have a negative 5 times x. So the inverse of multiplying by a -5 is to divide by a -5. We need to make sure we do that to both sides of our equation. So where that equal sign is, we have to do it to both sides. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. So I'm left with 5 divided by 5, which is 1x equals 20 divided by a -5 is a -4. So my answer is x equals -4. This one is dividing by a -3. It doesn't matter where the negative sign shows up. This is dividing by, so we're going to multiply by a -3. So I'm going to use a different color so we don't get it mixed up. But I'm multiplying by a -3. Whenever I multiply by a negative, I put it in parentheses to keep it easier to see. But we're doing that to both sides of our equation. And a -3 divided by a -3 is a positive, and 3 over 3 is 1, leaving me with x equals 7 times a -3 is a -21. And you can always plug your answer back in and to check your work.